Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. Hey, happy Friday and happy almost tax deadline. This weekend is going to be a very stressful weekend for some people, and I wanted to have this episode air today and over the weekend because I wanted to leave you with this message as we approach the tax deadline on Monday, and to really encourage you. If you're behind, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint of what you should do right now. If you're like, oh, what? There's a tax deadline on Monday? Shoot, where did the time go? What just happened? Why is it April? Relax. It's fine. Take a breath. I got you. So here's what you're going to do. If you're behind on your taxes and you haven't filed yet, there are a couple of reasons for this. I'm going to break down and I'm going to try to cover all the scenarios here that you're probably encountering. Number one is you just realized it's April 12th and you haven't heard from your accountant all year so far. Oh, if you haven't, then here's what you need to do. You need to send them an email right now and you're going to ask them, hey, just checking in. Did you file an extension for me? Ask them if they filed an extension. Even if they've been in touch with you, if you don't have a draft of your return on your plate right now to review, you need to be asking them, hey, are you filing an extension? Number one, because just make sure they're filing for you. Number two is, and here's the kicker, if you're behind and you're going to file an extension, I'm going to say it one more time. I've said it so many times. The extension is an extension of the paperwork, not the payment. If you're going to owe money in taxes, that ish is due on Monday, regardless if you have an extension. So here's the deal. If you're going to owe money, it's due on Monday. So if you're going to file an extension, the other question you need to ask in that email before you hit send is, should I be making a payment along with the extension? So based on their current estimates of what you could owe, which hopefully they have, and that is dependent, by the way, big asterisk on this, that is highly dependent on what you've given them. If you haven't given them any documents, they have nothing to process and therefore they have nothing to tell you. So a lot of this is on you if you got to gather your documents. That's first and foremost. But if you've sent in your documents by now and you haven't heard back or you know you're going to be on extension, then you have to get advice on what you should pay. Okay. And you should be able to figure this out. You should be able to be working with your tax advisor to figure this out. So they can give you advice on what to pay. Then what you're going to do is file the extension. And you have technically until October if you file the 6-month extension on the April 15th deadline. Now, here's the next question. If you're in this position, you're also going to ask them, when can we meet after the deadline, after the extension's filed, to lock down what more is needed from me and when we can get the taxes filed? Because here's what's most likely going to happen. I'm just generalizing because of my experience for years and years with this. That your accountant maybe files the extension. They go on vacation for the last 2 weeks of April or they close because they're tired. They've earned it. They deserve it. Then they come back in May. The last thing they want to do is taxes. They continue taking that break. And then they come back in, say, August, September, October, when the extensions are due. They resurface and they finish it for you. I don't really want that for you. And I'll tell you why. I don't want you to be thinking about last year well into 2024. I want you to be future focused. As business owners, I want you to be planning for 2025, not looking in the rearview mirror at the stuff that happened in 2023 and trying to remember stuff. It's not going to get any easier the longer you wait. I'm telling you that right now. So I would make an appointment with your accountant that as soon as you're done with this episode, or even right now if you can, if you're not hands on the steering wheel, you're not doing anything right now, draft an email to your accountant and make an appointment for sometime in maybe May or June. Get that stuff handled at the latest. We have actually a policy at Keep What You Earn Company that we don't do taxes after June 30th. I mean, I want to make it May 31st, but there's just some circumstances I can't control. And June 30th is more realistic. We really don't want to be doing any taxes in the second half of the year, period. We will even disengage with people if habitually they're getting their taxes done so late, because we just want to be able to move on and be forward thinking. We don't ever want to have to be stuck in the past that long. So make that appointment to get everything squared away. Be willing to show up. If you're showing up in person, bring your documents. If you're showing up virtually, have access to all your files, all your logins, be able to log into all your bank systems, and be able to produce all those documents in real time and be able to provide all that to your accountant. Be really clear and get a lot of clarity from them on what they need in order to file and the timeline in which they can file it. Make sure that you guys commit to a date and say, based on you giving me all of these documents, I can have this done for you by May 15th. Okay, great. Commit to that and hold them accountable to it. So if you're behind on your taxes right now, the first thing you should do is plot on the calendar when they will get done and take all the necessary steps to file your extension and to pay what you may owe. And this goes for federal and for state, by the way. So make sure you've got the federal and the state extensions filed, you've got all that lined up, and that your accountant's handling it. Do not assume that they are just magically handling it if they haven't been in touch with you. You still have to take ownership of this communication. You still have to, they should be communicating with you, but it is your responsibility to make sure your taxes get filed. You're just hiring them to do it. You're delegating that to them, but you are still the responsible person who's going to sign the return. And you're still the one who has to pay the taxes and any penalties and interest. So it's in your best interest to make sure that is moving along as planned. It's, buying a house or having someone build a house for you to your specifications. Like, you can't be absent in the process. You can't just go, well, the builder knows what they're doing. Like, you still have to supervise and verify. And you have to do that with your tax pro too. So if you're entering into the weekend and you're wondering what to focus on, let's say you want to let's file the extension first, number one. But let's say you decide, okay, I'm super motivated this weekend. Yes, it's last minute, but I'm finally feeling up to it. I'm going to go and get everything ready. What you're going to need to do is gather those documents, anything that you've gotten in the mail, your 1099s, your 1098, your, profit and loss statement from your business, maybe your balance sheet and your W-2s, 1099, NECs, whatever it may be. And you're going to gather all of that, and I would organize it for your accountant. And again, I would just submit it and say, hey, this is everything I have. I know you're not going to get it done by the deadline. Don't worry. But, please let me know when we can review this together. That's it. And if you're going to go through all of it and your accountant is working this weekend, which they deserve not to be, but many will be. And if they're working this weekend, working through and cranking through this stuff, here's what I will say. Please express gratitude for if you are going to approach your accountant today through Monday and present documents, or if you're going to be asking any questions, or if you're going to be, initiating correspondence with them about the taxes for 2023, just understand that you're knocking on Santa Claus's door on December 24th. They are busy, and it's not an excuse. They're really in a customer service business and they should be able to answer you. But understand that they're being torn in a bunch of different directions. They're getting questions left and right from people, and they're just going to be really busy. And I will tell you this, tax pros in general, being one of them, and I don't really consider myself primarily a tax pro. I happen to do taxes for my clients, but I don't do taxes as a business model. And I just see what they go through. And they are some of the most underappreciated people for how hard they work. Most of us don't truly enjoy for fun doing taxes. I like doing Sudoku puzzles. I don't like doing 1040s. I don't like it. Do I do it? Yes. Am I equipped to do it? Yes. Do I love helping business owners get clarity about their numbers and their taxes? Abso-freaking-lutely. But the way to do that, unfortunately, is a terrible set of paperwork that the IRS created. And I think a lot of CPAs, a lot of accountants would agree with me that, frankly, it's cumbersome, it's annoying, the tax software is annoying, and it's stressful. Even with the low number of clients I have, it's very stressful. So here's what I would ask you to do. If you're behind on doing your taxes and you're engaging with your accountant this weekend, please start with gratitude. Please approach them with a little bit of empathy on what they're dealing with right now. I'm sure you've been there too. And if you really want to go above and beyond, there's, again, some of the most underappreciated people. Send them something. Send them a thank you. Send them something to help them, do a little self-care in busy season. Most of these guys, you don't understand, are working 60 hours a week. And they're coming up on the end of it now. They've been doing it since February. start with gratitude. And I'm advocating for them as one of them. I don't do this anymore. I work an average of 25 hours a week, maybe 30. I'm telling you, they're busting their butts, guys. Do something nice for them. And I'm going to advocate for them because they won't ask for it. They won't say it. But that is the truth. So again, if you're behind, no stress, no worries. A lot of you are. It's totally fine. You're not going to be in a bad position. Just make sure that you're positioned well for success once we get past that deadline bridge, and that you're able to make an appointment with your accountant and you put it on the calendar when it's going to actually get done. Do not kick the can down to October. Nobody ever wins with that approach. All right. Enjoy your weekend. Monday's the tax deadline. Get your stuff in order. This is my obligatory statement to tell you that. Stay tuned on Monday. I'm going to actually walk you through how to read your tax return, which is going to be super helpful. So if you're getting your tax return back this weekend, stay tuned for Monday because I'll show you how to read it. We'll go through it together. All right, I'll see you then. Sometimes don't you wish you could just Google or ask ChatGPT what is deductible for your taxes? I wish it were that easy, but the truth is that deducting something can really vary, and it's really hard to get a straight answer for your business in particular, but I made something to help. My free tax deduction guide walks you through hundreds of example tax deductions that can apply to your business, along with a mini training on what actually makes something deductible so you can add more to your list and cater it to your specific industry or type of business. This is all for free, and it's at the link in the show notes. Go check it out. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.